One book, in my opinion, I think is trash, and the other one I think is a treasure. So I know it's kind of a bold statement, and probably the title card for this video probably caught your attention. Now, little disclaimer before we jump into this topic. I love all of the properties on here. I really do. And I love the combination. However, there's definitely one that's doing it right and one that's doing it completely wrong. So which one's which? We'll talk about it right now. So I wanted to make this video, one to give props to something, and one to kind of be like, hey, this isn't a problem. This is definitely a problem. This should be addressed, right? The two books I'm going to talk about today are two little mini events or events, depending on how you look at it. One is going to be the Predator versus Wolverine from Marvel and Fox 20th Century Studios, or not Fox, or 20th Century Studios. Sorry, it just always plays in my head. Um, and then, of course, the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong thing that we kind of got out of nowhere, by the way. Like, I don't know, maybe I just missed it, but I didn't know that was happening until like a few weeks before. And I was like, damn, this is actually a cool idea. And I was just curious on how it happened. You know, they kept doing the previews and stuff like that, which is a good thing. And that's kind of why I want to talk about the pros and cons about both of these books, because one of them I think is tremendously done. And the other one I think is just a cash grab and is garbage. So let's talk about it. So first up, we'll talk about the book that I think has been doing right is the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Okay, so what is this, right? Essentially, this is kind of an offshoot story. They treat it as such. This is obviously not going on with Dawn of DC. This is its own little mini event told in a different universe from a different time. And God, they freaking nailed it. I can't even lie to you guys that I think that they crushed it. So it starts off with Superman proposing to Lois. I'm not going to get into too many spoilers as far as you know, shot for shot here, but it's a good, well-rounded story. Cast of characters is obviously the Justice League. They jump right into action, and it's cool, right? They get transported into, what is it called? Skull Island, right? Which is so cool, right? And then they have to, take on these monsters, essentially, is what is going to be going forward. Now, I think, like, when I heard about these two books, right, and the reason why I'm comparing these two books is they're taking two or more properties that have not been mashed together, mashing them together for a mini event or event, right? And one of them is doing it the way that it should be done, and the other one is horrible. And that's my opinion. I know people are gonna definitely tear me apart. So I want to first say this before I start bashing. Obviously, Predator versus Wolverine. I am a bigger Predator fan than I am of the Justice League. Oh, actually, no, that's probably a toss up. But Predator as being the entity versus, let's say, Godzilla and the monster universe, right? And then Kong. Without a doubt, Predator is definitely the cooler one in my opinion. I love it. Watch the movies, loved them with, my father, my grandfather watching those movies. It's just a classic, right? However, when I seen Predator versus Wolverine, I'm like, dude, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. That's going to be a real badass series, right? Then the first book came out and it was a regular page count for $8 freaking. I'm like, okay, hey, we're gonna pay for it. Everyone's a big fan of Wolverine. Everyone's a huge fan of the Predator, of course, right? Now, I haven't read the second issue, and these are going off of both the first issue of Godzilla, or the Justice League Godzilla, and then Predator Wolverine. And the Predator Wolverine was so forgettable, in my opinion. Now, I know it came out first, and it came out weeks before this one. However, after reading the Justice League one, it just felt more of a story. It felt cooler. It felt different. And Predator versus Wolverine, I'm like, so it's going to be an X-Men Wolf Predator team up? Or not team up, but like team versus team. And the last time I thought the Predators kind of work solo. They're not really a team. That's why they're kind of always like fighting against each other, it seemed like. But I don't know. The second book was still $6, which again, it's not eight, thank God, but what's the last book going to look like? 12 at this point? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Now, I know it's only going to be a 4 issue series, and I'm not quite sure how many issues the Justice League Kong Godzilla one is, but I'm going to tell you that one was sold at a $8 number one, and one was sold at a $5 number one. One of them had way more story, a way better story, in my opinion. Obviously, that's just my opinion, so everyone's could differ on that. And then one of them I kind of already like started forgetting about because, and I don't read a lot of books, but it just wasn't it. Like, I mean, again, that's just going off of number one. And yeah, did I look at the artwork and see the Predator? And I was like, damn. I was like, this is pretty cool. Yeah, of course, because that's what we're paying for. But I don't know. And this is not to knock Benjamin Percy or anything, because I do think he's a great writer. I just think that the way that Marvel is presenting this is garbage. Like, it's garbage. You don't, like, push a book with that, like, you're just cash grabbing two entities is what it is, versus where it seemed, I was like, oh, here comes Godzilla, Justice League, and Kong, and I'm like, oh, this is another one. This is going to be the same crap. Well, I was delightfully surprised when it wasn't, and it was something that was like, hey, this is kind of different, and hey, this is kind of cool, and I'm like, $5, hell yeah, like it was a perfect price point. I felt like, so that was my opinion on it, and I just wanted to kind of bring it up in the video, and I definitely, definitely, definitely recommend checking out Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. I believe the second printing is going to be going out soon, maybe this week, maybe next week. But check it out because that series, or not series, but that event is definitely cool. The Predator versus Wolverine, yeah, it's cool too. I'm not gonna lie, it's freaking cool. I love the Wolverine and I love Predator. But if you're looking to, have the honest kind of like, oh, I want to read a good story, I think one is in that direction. But without a doubt, this is just my opinion. Curious to hear yours in the comment section below. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh, but I just read both the number ones, and that's just kind of where I'm at. So I'm just curious on how you guys feel. Which series are you most likely to pick up? But until next time, thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe below. Thank you.